You spend 6 months drilling flashcards, mastering the subjunctive, and polishing what you think is a universal Spanish. You feel ready to land in Mexico City or Medellin. This path shows the divide. Standard Spanish handles basic survival, like ordering food. But for social integration, it hits a wall. You'll sit at a cafe in El Poblado or Roma Norte, missing the local rhythm and unspoken social cues. Mapping the specific pronunciation gaps, structural traps, and vocabulary differences between these two hubs helps you avoid these critical social missteps. True fluency in these cities is hyper-local. Success requires matching your linguistic ear to their specific, distinct ecosystems. The linguistic divide between these cities stems from geography and centuries of history, beginning with the foundations of Mexico City. The modern capital sits on Tenochtitlan, the former Aztec capital. As Spanish took root, it layered itself onto Nahuatl, the language of the empire. For a Chilango, words like jitomate, elote, and cuate function as the standard foundational vocabulary of daily life, rather than borrowed slang. Medellin Spanish followed a different path. It sits in the Antioqueño region of the Andes, which remained historically isolated from outside influence. Because of those mountains, the Paisa dialect developed with almost no indigenous vocabulary overlay. Instead, local speech patterns grew inward, creating a unique linguistic personality. Since these dialects matured under such different conditions, the linguistic rules that apply on the Mexican plateau do not translate to the Colombian Andes. The first major hurdle for an expat hits the ear before you process the words: the pronunciation gap. This chart contrasts the two sound profiles. Mexico City Spanish sounds flat, rapid, and direct, swallowing unstressed syllables. Compare that to the Medellin waveform. Paisas use a cantado, or sung intonation. Sentences follow a melodic, rising and falling rhythm unique to the region. An ear trained in Mexico City must work harder in Medellin, spending extra mental energy tracking the melody just to parse the intended meaning. Despite these different rhythms, both cities produce clear vowels and use a clear S sound for Z and C, keeping pure articulation accessible for learners. The initial acoustic adjustment in both places is almost entirely about rhythm and speed, rather than missing consonants. Beyond the rhythm, the most significant structural trap involves everyday pronouns. This matrix shows how the rules shift. Mexico City follows the standard textbook rule: use du for friends and usted for elders or formal respect. In CDMX, using usted with a peer establishes a clear boundary of professional or cold distance. In the Medellin column, you find the practice of ustedeo, where the social signals are reversed. Paisas use usted with close friends and family. Following Mexico City logic here means you will likely misinterpret local warmth as cold formality. Medellin also relies on vos as the standard peer-level pronoun, while tu is rarely heard. Adopting vos requires memorizing unique verb stress patterns. You consciously shift from tu tienes or tu eres to vos tenés and vos sos. Your mastery of these local pronoun systems determines how accurately you read and send the room's social signals. Moving from grammar to daily life, the layers of street vocabulary in these two cities operate on largely separate tracks. In Mexico City, casual address centers on way. In Medellin, that social function is handled entirely by parce. When describing something as cool, a Chilango says chido, while a Paisa says bacano. These vocabulary splits create practical friction during simple daily tasks, like ordering a cup of coffee. In Medellin, ordering a tinto gets you a standard small black coffee from a street vendor. In Mexico City, ordering a tinto results in a glass of red wine. Basic nouns are often non-transferable between these two regions. Using one city's specific terminology in the other broadcasts that you are a visitor who hasn't yet adjusted to the local environment. Successfully transitioning between these cities depends on your ability to actively unlearn specific habits. This roadmap shows the adjustment. Heading to Medellin, you must adopt vos conjugations, accept usted as warm, and tune your ear to the cantado rhythm. Moving the opposite direction requires dropping vos, using du for peers, and absorbing Nahuatl-derived vocabulary. General language apps often miss these hyper-local social nuances, teaching a generic Spanish that lacks this necessary regional precision. Street Tongue uses custom AI scenarios to solve this, allowing you to practice the actual dialects and social situations of specific cities before you arrive. Using scenario-based speaking practice helps you avoid months of social friction and start communicating like a local on day one. Which of these adjustments feels more challenging? Learning the new vos conjugations or unlearning your usted formality? Share your thoughts in the comments and tell us which city's dialect we should deconstruct next.